Alrighty. Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classic Non-Classics. This is episode number 2175 and Doubleshot number 2069. I have two X-Men related trades. The first one is a finale, the other one is a penultimate trade for this particular run. Alright, first up we have is Exiles Volume 2 Trial of the Exiles. This collects issues 7 through 12 of Exiles Volume 3. Yes, so we kind of wrap up the Exiles series here with this one. First up, we have the Exiles dealing with the Western version of the Brotherhood of Mutants. And after dealing with them for a few issues, then we deal with the actual trial. We're put on trial by the Watchers, except that these are not part of the regular Watchers per se. Nope, this is a rogue faction, and they're joined by Captain Carter. Well, actually, Captain America, who's actually Peggy Carter. Yeah, it's not the one who got her own mini-series. It's a completely different version of the character. And of course, also Valkyrie's reunited with Sergeant Becky Barnes. Yes, who they confirm is a lesbian in here. Yep. And the whole thing is being put on trial. Of course, they sent annihilation because they apparently don't like the Exiles, the things they do. So put them on trial for what they actually are supposed to frickin' do. And of course, also Nick Fury is chained up in here, like usual. But of course, the actual Exiles are defeated. The other team, they also have another team of Exiles here, known as the Council Exiles, which are led by Camilla Khan, who was actually to be alive here. This back apparently died back in issue 5. And she's here for the last few issues of this book, and that's the last sequel of the Ultimate Universe Camilla Khan. Yep, and then pretty much the book ends with basically you have Blink reuniting with her aunt in 616, and supposedly the team is disbanded, but who knows what they're going to do here. The series just stops. Yes, it seems like as soon as they wrap up the whole thing with the Rogue Watchers, Nick Fury is still doing the stuff he was doing on the moon anyways before even after the series, and well, that's pretty much the series in a nutshell. What happens to Nick Fury afterwards? Doesn't do very much for over a year, until basically the Watcher comes back, and then later on, about a few months after that, he basically gets relieved of his duties, basically gets restored to his normal look, but he's bald now. Yeah. He has been removed from the moon, though currently, thanks to the Reckoning War, he actually is, well, what happened is that he has a new facility on the moon, because this is quite strange though. He has a facility supposedly in this book on the moon already, and yet other books appears and he just basically a ruined wasteland on the moon. Being inconsistent when it comes to that, though apparently now he's forming a new version of S.H.I.E.L.D. on the moon. Yes. But what happens to the Exiles? Well, in the case of Becky Barnes herself, she is later confirmed to be dead. Yep, in the pages of Future Foundation, because apparently this version of Becky Barnes, who's Becky Barnes, was possessed by the one from Heroes Reborn. Yep, and then she possessed another person. Yeah, for some reason, Rebecca Barnes basically decided to do that. I don't know why, but she did. But as for the Tess Thompson-inspired Valkyrie, she doesn't do anything afterwards. Blink herself appears in a issue of Ecstatic, and that's it for her. Iron Lad just does his own thing afterwards. Oh yeah, by the way, we even see a return of the series of Morph. Yes, Morph. A character who has been pretty much part of the original book throughout pretty much the whole run. I don't think he was volume 2. I don't remember if he was or not. Or even the new Exiles book. But he's a character commonly associated with the Exiles. Though we got lost at some point, and then he's found here again. He kind of rejoins the Exiles. But what exactly is the purpose of the Exiles at this point in time? I don't know. It seems like first they're saving multiverse. That's wrapped up in the first 5 issues. And then, like, searching for the lost friends. Okay. So, was Blink trying to look for people who were in the previous book of Exiles? That basically the book ended back in 2009, I think it was. It's almost like basically Saladin Ahmed didn't know exactly what to do with the book once they wrapped up this particular story arc. Maybe he felt as though, now, there could be a variety of reasons why the book was canceled. Usually the most popular reason why the book gets canceled because of low sales. That is simply the most popular reason. Now here's something Saladin is not addressing here. Does he not know the fact that the Age of Apocalypse universe has been sealed? thanks to events of I think it was Extermination, which that's something quite weird about that book, where like everything happened in the book is very contained. It's never mentioned of what happened in that book, because here's the thing: despite the fact her encountering Sabretooth in the previous trade, that was a past version of the character because the character is dead. He got killed by the exterminators while fighting alongside his son, Graydon Creed. Yep. Though, of course, also Sabretooth was dating Jean Grey in the book, despite the fact she's a married woman. Yep, Sabretooth tried to start a romance with Jean Grey, who was actually depowered. Yes, though I think that she annulled her marriage with Wolverine. Yeah, in the Age of Apocalypse universe, Jean Grey and Wolverine are, well, he's not called Wolverine, he's called Weapon X. There is a completely different character who's called that. Now, weirdly enough, despite the fact a lot of characters from the Age of Apocalypse were killed off during the events of the Extermination crossover, who was let them anyways, unknown what happened to Weapon Omega. He just killed off Havoc again, and he was never seen again. It's completely unknown exactly what exactly happened to him. But in the case of this book altogether, the book is really good. I do recommend it. It nothing really like woke per se, but it's really a book, and as of right now, for some amount of time in Marvel Comics, there is exactly one more comic left to go, one more trade left to go, series left, that he worked on. That is at the cover, aside from Infinity comic. And that is basically Quicksilver Surrender. And that's it, because the guy didn't work on a lot of Marvel. I think probably the only book working the longest was Miles Morales Spider-Man. Yeah, that was the only book that's surprisingly less longer than his Miss Marvel book. Yes. Alright, now moving on to the penultimate trade of New Mutants by Ayala. I say penultimate trade because next trade is the finale, which I do own here. Now, this particular book contains issues 25 to 28 of New Mutants Volume 2. 4. Now, mostly put, this is basically, you can think of it as standard style when you think of New Mutants. They would the whole limbo stuff, with Magic being here. Now, a lot of this book is quite... Now, right here, Rod Reese is the main story, flashbacks done by Juan Charisma. Len France uses the cover art for pretty much all the issues here. Yep, that's all his artwork here. Mostly put, these are your team members. For the start, we have Magic, Danny Moonstar, Madeline Pryor, Wolfsbane, Colossus in the book, but I'm not sure why he would be considered part of the team, but he kind of is, and Sim. Yep. Oh, by the way, they call this Chapter 11. Probably Chapter 11 of Van Alice run. Yes, because apparently this is what the Krakatoa books basically do now. So, mostly put, you have, well, Madeline Pryor's in the book now. She's basically kind of with the team, kind of. But you know those really members who were part of the book previously? All dropped. If you think about it, the only people who were part of the original New Mutants are still part of this book nowadays is just Danny Moonstar and Magic. Madeline Pryor just along for the ride because it involves Magic. And it involves Limbo stuff. There's lots involving Limbo. There's a fight Limbo. There's really good flashbacks in here of Magic, where she's basically just trying out magic at home. It's a really good story arc here. Warlock does not appear in this book per se. They also appear into my future version of Magic as well. It's just basically mostly a Magic-focused book with Madeline Pryor along for the ride. And there's at one point in the book, the way the artwork is depicting, I think it was Madeline Pryor getting close to Danny Moonstar. It almost looked like Madeline Pryor was going to give Danny Moonstar a kiss on the lips. How would I know this? Well, because how close they were saying to each other. Yes, it is almost like the way that the artist Rod Reese depicted it was that these two were going to make out. Despite the fact both women are very straight. Yes, Madeline Pryor is not bisexual. She is a very straight woman. And last I heard, she's dating Havoc. Now, why is she here, you might ask? Well, she got previously revived toward the end of Hellions. Yeah, they actually fixed the rule here to allow her to be resurrected despite being cloned Jean Grey. Yep. And the thing with her in this book, she is wearing her Inferno garb. Yes, the garb she wore to Inferno basically when she was the Goblin Queen. Yes, she's still referred to as Madeline Pryor. But I thought I saw in here, but I do remember basically there was a panel where Danny Moonstone was actually close to one of the women here. Now, what does basically her being the Goblin Queen does that lead to? There's stuff with her to do with Dark Web, but this book is just really good. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I mean, despite the Krakatoa stuff related to the X-Men books, this book has barely anything to do with Krakatoa. I mean, it's brought up once the entire book. It's almost like Vita Alos has the character depicted as being away from Krakatoa, away from the affairs of the book. It's like its own separate thing. That's most of what it is. It's not when the book started back in 2019, it's like any young X-Men character who was not part of some other book was dumped in this book. That's basically what it was when it was written by either Jonathan Hickman or Ben Percy. Vita Ayala had a basically straightforward team with this book. Though for some reason his run, it kept shrinking. I don't know exactly what was the reason for it, but that was simply what happened here. Yes, for some reason he decided to do that. It just kind of odd to say the least, but that was pretty much the roster nutshell. Now, was any members on the team? Not really per se. No. Not in this particular set of issues. No. The last people who joined the group was actually back in issue 1. Yeah, well, actually, it was Ed Bronson. That was Ben Percy. My mistake. It's Ed Bronson. Yeah, Vita Ayala has been the writer of the books in issue 14. Yeah, 14. Which is something. It just kind of interesting the fact that he has been the writer of the books in issue 16 since that book. And here's the strange thing though about this book that I gotta bring up right in this video. Because the fact it was announced recently that the Captain Marvel book, which is ending really soon, at issue 50, which makes this book along with X-Force Marvel's current longest running books right now. I kind of talked to Kelly Thomas about it. Basically, that, oh yeah, book is ending. I didn't ask exactly why. Maybe she felt as though the 50 was good issue ended. I have honestly no idea. But isn't kind of, and here's the strange thing though. And now the reason why I say penultimate trade because Vita Ayala leaves after the issue that's printed in the next trade, was discussed in Future Comic Corner, because he's pretty much done with the book afterwards, and he was replaced by a brand new writer. I'm not sure why, but that's basically what it is. So basically, in just over 30 issues, this book has had 4 writers in 30 issues. While the rest of the books basically have had like 1. I think the book has basically changed writers at this point in time as well, been X-Men Marauders. Yep. But yeah, that's particularly a particular view. Next up is going to be more Super Sentai. Okay, next video. Bye.